Good afternoon. I'm Kevin Fred Demick, Vice Chair of the Public Works. I'd call this meeting to order. If you could join or stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You do roll call, please.
Mr. Fanton, Mr. Demick,
Here.
Mr. Barnes.
Present.
Mr. Curran, Mr. Sear.
Here.
Mr. Healy,
Here.
Mr. Stockin.
Here.
And Mr. Harris. 5 present, 2 absent.
Everyone's had a chance to look at the minutes from February 7th. I'd look to motion to approve.
Stocking.
Healy, second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Same with February 21st. We get a motion?
Healy will move it.
Sear.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And carried. I'd like to welcome Dean Scholes, Deputy Superintendent. He's going to go over the highway, solid waste, and buildings and grounds today. Thanks, Dean.
Thank you. It's good to be with everybody this afternoon. Tom is away today. He was yesterday and today. He attended advocacy days in Albany to advocate with a bunch of other folks for more money for our local roads and bridges. So I'm here today to hopefully help him out. Under the highway projects, the capital projects, site work has started at the S-curves. Where the proposed DPW shop and perhaps transit building will go. If you drive by there, you'll see that there's been some clearing and work done to create better drainage. Satterley Hill Bridge in Alfred is open, and hopefully we'll be able to pave that later on this spring or early spring. And the County Route 26 Bridge in Belfast, Twin Tiers has begun mobilization to start that. So I'm sure the folks in Belfast are happy to see progress there. Are there any questions on that?
Comment.
The agenda, yeah.
I had the opportunity to visit all those sites this past week, and everything was looking pretty good, I want to say. So my compliments to everybody.
We appreciate that. We'll share it with our staff. Thank you.
Anybody else got anything? Okay.
All right. Move on, Public Works requests to fill a heavy motor equipment operator 2 position. It's an existing position. This is, we're requesting this because the person that had this title bid out, so we're just requesting to fill.
Okay. Can I get a motion?
And if I'm correct, it's for our bridge maintenance division.
Healy will move it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion's carried.
All right, thank you. Public Works requests approval to award the attached 2024 various road building materials. The prices are effective May 1st, 2024 through April 30th, 2025. All those that are in your packet will get an award. Some of the awards are extensions and some of them are new awards. We do this every spring.
Can we get a motion?
Stocking moves.
Healy will second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And I will abstain from that.
All right, next, Public Works requests permission to award paving of County Road 23 to Spalina Materials, Inc. The term of the contract is May 1, 2024 to April 30, 2025. The fiscal impact, $896,362.50, which is CHIPS funding.
Can we get a motion on that?
Barnes.
Healy will second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? That is carried.
I'll add a comment that Tom has had for me, that County Route 39 is also on the radar, but 23 is what we're able to commit to now because we know we can afford it with the CHIPS monies that we have. But County Route 39 is also, is on the radar. We'll see what happens. Public Works is requesting a resolution authorizing the chairman of the board's signature for a contract with Hunt Engineers for the schematic design and design development of the Friendship Shop at the S-Curve location on County Route 20. The proposed fee is $199,500. The Friendship Capital Account, H5132, currently has $65,507.44. Therefore, we will need to obtain the funding for the remaining $134,000, and the agreement is subject to review and approval by the county attorney.
We get a motion?
Healy will move it.
Okay. Any discussion?
Question. Can you refresh my memory what our time schedule is for breaking ground?
As soon as, well, I'd have to get back to you. I don't want to commit too early, but
As soon as we-
hopefully, maybe
as soon
a
as we
year.
can.
Maybe a year. Yeah, as soon as we can, sure.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Gary?
Oh, sorry,
Oh.
go ahead. Gary's first.
Go ahead, Carrie. Oh, Jan?
You say that you don't have enough money in the budget to cover this, so where's the balance going to come from?
That's what we're asking for assistance with.
Well, again, this has happened several times. How do we approve something if we don't know how we're going to fund it?
Unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to visit with Tom before he left for Albany, so I do apologize for that. And if we need to table it for a special committee meeting, we can do that. It's whatever you'd like to do. I unfortunately didn't have an opportunity to communicate with Tom before the committee meeting.
I don't know if any, yes, I was going to ask Terry if she had any
Yeah, I'll
input.
make a comment on that. I was not aware that this was coming to the committee. I have not been involved in any of the conversations. This is one of the things that I had mentioned before, that when construction is started, you need to have a pre-resolution done for the borrowing if you're going to pay for it out of borrowed funds. If not, then you're going to have to find that money somewhere else in the budget. There is some details, they have to be worked out on that for borrowing. Obviously, we are not going to be able to pay for this building with our own money. It is going to be way too much money. So we need to make the effort to know in advance what we're going to need so that we can get a pre-construction bonding resolution to you to be able to pass so that any expenses can be put against the bond and not out of our pocket. So that's got to be a discussion that's got to be held at some point in time.
We have several other steps that have to take place, is that correct?
We do, but if you want it to be included in bond proceeds to pay for it, the resolution has to go on first before you pay for anything.
Does that include design?
I think it includes anything. If you're gonna do preliminary work before you decide on whether you want to build it, then you're gonna have to pay for that out of your own pocket. So you're gonna have to find that money somewhere in the budget, fund balance, whatever.
Terry
to
and
do
I,
it.
we both talked to bond counsel specifically about these projects, and they were very adamant, and this is the same bond counsel that's worked with us over the years for this, that you have to have that resolution before you spend any money towards the project that you may later want to associate with the bond.
Okay, I guess our next question will be, can we task someone with reviewing this and give us the steps that we need to do, and so everybody's on the same page?
Terry, are you already working with bond counsel on getting a resolution around on that? Or
I have not done that because I have not been in any of the conversations. I've not been at the table with Hunt, so I'm not aware of what the cost estimate is gonna be or what we need to go out for. So we can have that conversation with bond counsel.
Would you suggest we table it today, or,
We'll
I-
have to.
well?
Well, you're approving the contract, right? Is that what you're asking for? Is to approve the contract? You're not asking them to expend anything yet. So I don't know, county attorney probably would have a better answer to that. But otherwise, you pay for what you want to do right now and then worry about any other costs after the design to potentially come out of a borrowing. So you have that option.
I would make a motion to table this until next,
Okay,
to your
'cause-
committee meeting next month, so we can work out the piece about how we're going to pay for this. You want to know how you're going to pay for this entire amount before you actually approve the contract with Hunt to perform the
Alright.
work.
Well, my question goes back to, without design, how do you know what it's gonna cost? I mean, so where do we take a step to get us towards what we know what we're gonna have to bond? I think, would be the next question.
Well, I believe there are some estimates out there right now that you could, the pre-construction resolution does not have to include exact dollar amounts. So we need to have those conversations so that I can take at least some estimate back to bond council to be able to prepare that preliminary resolution for borrowing. It doesn't mean we'll go out to borrowing right away. It doesn't mean any of that. It just means that you have your ducks in a row, that this resolution is on the books so that any cost associated with that can potentially come out of the borrowing. So it's really just a precautionary thing. You need to have that done first. In my opinion, you need that done first, or you need to decide, is this money gonna come out of the piggy bank?
Right.
Those are your choices.
Okay, so if we have the consensus, if we table this, it's not gonna go away. Something we gotta do. Dean, you got something you wanna
Yeah,
add?
well, and thank you, Terry, I appreciate it, and I apologize to the committee and to the treasurer's office. We can schedule a meeting with Hunt and Terry and Allison, so that we're all on the same page, and then, if it's decided that we may have an opportunity to move forward before April, then we'll communicate to the committee chair and see if we can set up something special, but we'll make that, we'll set up a meeting to make sure everybody's on the same page.
Yeah. I'd like to hear the results of that.
Yeah, we'll look forward to it.
Gary, did you have something?
Yeah, this thing's been kicking around now for 3 or 4 years. Originally, it was just an upgrade to improvements at Friendship, which we did approve up to the point of the final engineering. Then it was determined that it wasn't workable. My point is, the fact that we've been talking about it for 3 or 4 years, it's time to make some decisions and get the ball rolling, period.
So, it was my understanding 2 years ago when I got elected to this board, we were that close to pulling the trigger and doing this until the design changed a little bit. If my memory serves me right, we had somewhere in the neighborhood of $4 million earmarked for this building, and we were only gonna bond for a very small portion. How much is in that account? Because I know we've known for a lot of years and been saving for this. So without getting down to the penny, what would you ballpark we have earmarked for the DPW building?
We don't have anything earmarked for the DPW building except for the 60-some thousand dollars that Dean mentioned in the MOE. The original design for the DPW building was to use the ARPA money. We were gonna use the ARPA money to construct the Public Works building. When that fell through, that became, something that we weren't gonna use our own money for at this point. It was gonna be much larger cost than what we had even in ARPA money to do that with. So there is no account set up for the construction of the DPW building with any significant amount of money other than what Dean mentioned in the MOE, which is about $66,000.
Well, this still has to go to Ways and Means and then to resolution, anyways, right? So, I mean, we got a lot of time. I'd like to hear from Chairman Harris, what his input is there.
Since we're taking a walk down memory lane here. My recollection was, and I think maybe this is where that 4 million number is coming from, was that we knew that even if we did renovations to the Friendship Shop, I thought it was in the $8 million range, 8 or 10 million. And we didn't have the appetite to use all of our ARPA money for that project. So I think we discussed using about half of our ARPA towards the project and taking the remainder, I think, out of fund balance, but I could be wrong. Regardless of that, it's just prudent for us to take these steps that Terry is describing. I don't think it means that we're not moving forward. It just means we're doing it the appropriate way so we have the flexibility we need in terms of funding it when that time comes.
Anyone else got anything? Gary?
Yes, so obviously, we're gonna have to bond this project when and if it's approved. What is our total bond outstanding at this time? We still got the jail. What else have we got that we're paying on right now, and how much longer?
Okay, well, what we have is we have the balance of the public safety complex, which was borrowed in 2006 and then refunded in 2014, which has a balance of approximately $8,775. This was as of September of '22. It's in the back of your budget book. And then we have the courthouse, which, the maturity date for the jail is 2029. The maturity date for the courthouse is 2033. We owe about $8.7 million on that, for a total of $17,005 as we have outstanding in bonds. Next week, I will be bringing forward a resolution request that I've been working on for the last month with bond counsel and our fiscal advisors to refinance the public safety building, which will save us an additional $389,000 approximately in interest. So that will be coming forward next Wednesday for a resolution on the 27th. That sale will take place and will close sometime in June, excuse me, of 2024. So we're going to be refinancing one of these. It's up for refinancing. We've looked at that. The market's good. Our financial position is excellent. So we can go out and reduce that interest cost on that bond. So ultimately, we have about $17 million owed right now in bonds, which is way lower than our debt limit. So we're fine to go out and borrow money for this construction of this DPW building.
Mr. Chairman?
I have a follow-up
Gary's
question.
got,
So, the projected cost, what are we talking, 10 or 12 million dollars? Yeah,
For the shop, I would say that's a reasonable number to have in mind right now. It could be a little bit higher,
it could be higher.
sure.
So, 10 to 15 million.
Potentially, but I don't want to commit to that right now. I mean, I don't want to speculate, but that's part of what this design proposal would do, is dial in on that figure. The conceptual design has been agreed to. Now it's getting down to what's it really going to look like and what's it really going to cost. But I'm not an expert in that, so I really am not comfortable tossing around numbers. I'm not going to tell you 3, I'm comfortable telling you that. But, I'm just not an expert in that area to give you any number with confidence.
I think it's important to remember, this is just one project amongst a series of projects that are being talked about at the S-curves, from the S-curves all the way up to the 1986 intersection. So we're looking at construction of a new DPW facility. We're looking at construction of a facility for our bus transportation at the same site. We're looking at water and sewer, because both facilities will need water and sewer as well. And we're also working on County Road 51. All those costs together, all those estimates need to come together and need to be given to the treasurer so she can work with bond counsel on what it would take for a bond to cover all of that. You don't want 10 bonds out there. I'm pretty sure Terry's going to tell you want one for a large amount if that's what you're going to be doing. We do have fund balance available, but fund balance alone would not carry all of these projects together.
Thank you.
Mr. Healy?
Yes. Well, this is just a little piece of it, and it's just giving the authority to sign the agreement if and when they find that it's timely to do so. Doesn't mean they have to do it now or whenever. And you got to go to the Ways and Means, maybe even to the Budget Committee, who knows. but we can take our time with all that, so I'll just call a question up and down where it passes.
Okay. Appreciate all the aspects everybody's brought to light. No doubt we got some things to look at. We get the right people to the table. I'll be looking forward to a report on this to see where we're at. So, do we want to make a motion to table then?
I call the question.
Oh, all right. So you want to make a motion?
We already made,
Motion to go to table it?
no, I made the motion was made and seconded for this.
Oh, all right, now we had discussion, okay.
And I called for the question.
So all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried.
All right, well, thank you, everybody. We do appreciate your input, and we'll certainly, to be helpful to everybody involved, like the administrator said, there's a lot of projects going on right now.
I just can't.
Okay. Public Works requests permission to purchase a 299 D3 XE compact track loader from Milton Cat for the price of $187,262.29. This is off an old New York State OGS contract. And, yeah, and it'll come out of the DM 5130.204 account.
So move, Seer.
Get a second? Stockton, second. Any discussion? Gary?
I just want to confirm, this is a brand-new unit.
It is a brand-new piece of equipment. Originally, what we intended to do was purchase a grader this year, but used graders were in excess of $270,000 with 3,000 hours on it. So Tom and some of our other senior staff decided to go in this direction. It is on our equipment replacement list, so it is a brand-new unit with multiple attachments, so it's very versatile, that many departments can use if necessary.
But this is to replace a grader?
We'd hoped to purchase a grader, but they were too expensive even used. So we've put that on the back burner until we can find something more reasonable. It'll probably be next year that we.
What does a new grader cost?
I don't know, sir, but a used one with 3,000 hours on it's over $270,000. So I would guess well over 300.
Right.
Thank you.
Maybe Fred has a,
Way over 300.
yeah.
I can tell you that. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion is carried.
Thank you. And last, under Highway, Public Works requests permission to purchase a new tamper, a plate tamper from Kelly's Garage in Perry, New York for the price of $6,350. And it's coming out of DM 5130.204.
So move, Seer.
We get a second?
Helio second it. And I got a question too.
Okay.
That's something we make available to our local municipalities as a part of our shared services also?
Yes.
Okay. I was in a local board meeting the other day, and they were talking about purchasing one here in the Capitol themselves, and I told them maybe they wanted to contact DPW, so maybe, do you remember that? Maybe you could talk to the village about that?
Sure,
Thank you.
yeah.
Anyone else? Okay, all four?
Aye.
Opposed? And carried.
Move on to solid waste.
Sure. Has anybody got any other questions about highway before we move on? We've kind of beat this a little bit, but, okay.
You guys are
Solid
supposed
waste.
to take it easy on me. Tom's gone. Solid waste. All right, we're requesting permission to award to Root Neal and Company for the rate replacement of our landfill scale. The bid price, we had two bidders, and the low bid price was $62,700.
So move, Seer.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Public Works requests permission to purchase a new 2025 Kenworth T880 for the Solid Waste Division from Kenworth Northeast for the cost of $187,180. This is off of Onondaga County bid. We'll be piggybacking, and it is in our budget.
Stockton moves.
Aye.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Okay, Public Works requests permission to purchase a 28-foot full eject style packer receiver container from Syncon Equipment, $64,968. It'll be purchased from our own bid. It was dated February 1, 2023, and it is in our budget.
We get a motion?
How much is that?
$64,968.
Healy, move it. Warren, second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
All right, we're skipping a page here. Public Works is requesting permission to either bid or purchase off a joint purchasing contract, a leachate tanker. This will be paid for out of the landfill closure project. We have a vendor in mind. They're waiting to see if they're approved to be a vendor on one of the joint purchasing agencies. But this gives us the option. If they're not, then we'll put it out to bid. But that's why we're asking to either bid it or piggyback.
Okay, can we get a motion?
Seer.
Healy.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
All right. I'm gonna add one thing on here. We're requesting permission to hold our annual Household Hazardous Waste Day, September 7th, 2024.
So move, Seer.
Healy will second that, and I'd like to make a comment if I could.
Any discussion? Go ahead.
I'd just like to say this has been a very successful program over the years, and every household and taxpayer in the county benefits by it, so it's a good program. Keep it up. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Anyone else? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried.
And also, you see on your agenda, the 2024 solid waste tag sales. New tags are for sale now. The existing tags expire at the end of this month. There'll be a little grace period for folks who need a little more time to buy a tag, but we wanted to share with the public that new tags are for sale this week, starting this week.
Got any other questions for solid waste? Okay, we'll move on to buildings and grounds.
Okay, Buildings and Grounds, request permission to purchase an Econoline abrasive blast cabinet. They're just a sand blast cabinet from Granger for the price of $5,142.27. And it is off of OGS contract, and it is in our budget.
Stockton.
We get a motion? All right, stock and motion. Can I get a second?
Healy will second.
Okay, discussion. Gary?
Can you explain a little bit more about a blast cabinet? This is where you take stuff into sandblast?
Yep. It's a large cabinet where you can put material in, say a piece of steel, blast it with media and prepare it for welding, painting, whatever the case might be. And it's located out back, or will be located out in our Buildings and Grounds shop. But it's useful enough for our highway divisions, our shops, and our solid waste division also. So, we're able to repair and use a lot of our own materials, a lot of our own equipment and own materials. So that's what it is, just a sandblast cabinet or a media blast cabinet.
Does someone actually stand inside this cabinet when they're blasting, or with
No, they
dress?
put the unit inside, and they can reach in with gloves.
Okay.
There's sleeves that they can reach into and clean off the piece that they're working with, and, just gets all the rust and
So
all that
the
off.
users are well protected, is what I'm getting at.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, All for?
Aye.
Against? Carried.
All right, thank you very much. We just got a couple other updates, or roof updates. I've been in visiting with Tremco this week. They've got one more set of tests that they want to do, which is a moisture test on this roof to see if parts of it can be salvaged and other parts, how much of this roof would need to be replaced. So they may be able to just do general repairs. Once they get that moisture test, then they can give us an idea of what the entire cost will be to replace this roof, the county office building roof, and the weights and measures roof. We're going to try to do at least the old courthouse and the weights and measures building simultaneously. And if we can pull it off, we'll do all three at the same time to save on mobilization and demobilization. But we'll know that, where we stand, probably mid to late April, 1st of March for sure. So we'll know what the entire project cost will be and when they can start. So just want to give an update on that. Is there any questions on roof repairs?
I would highly advise against roof repairs. It's a very old roof. Let's
Yeah.
not put a Band-Aid and leave it for the next legislature.
Yeah, the county office building roof surprisingly is in very good shape. But we're gonna take everything into consideration. We don't wanna leave anything for anybody else or have something be completed and not be correct. So we appreciate that. And then lastly, Stark update, building control systems. They're in the home stretch, hopefully be done by April. We are aware that several offices are struggling with temperature control. It's a software thing that we're working with Stark on, and Keith Hooker's office. They've been helpful to us, but hopefully by the beginning of April, we'll have all that settled and everything will be functioning as we hope it does.
Okay, anybody else got any other questions for buildings and grounds? Okay, any old business? New business?
I visited with Chairman Harris earlier this morning about the local solid waste management plan. It's something we're working on in-house to have our ducks in a row, but I visited with Chairman Harris earlier. At some point in the next few months, we'd like assistance from this committee in some form or fashion to help guide us on how we may implement or not implement parts of the local solid waste management plan.
Well put.
Good. Any comments on that? Okay,
Mr. Chairman, while you're still in new business, may I?
sure.
Could I ask if a member of the committee would be willing to make a motion to enter executive session to discuss the acquisition of real property, which if discussed publicly would substantially affect the value?
We have a motion.
Stocking.
Helio second.
Very brief, 5 minutes.
All in favor? Thanks. I'm glad.